All right, so what's up, guys? I've got 3 helmets here. Got DJI set up for all of them, so we're just going to jump right into it and go over how I've got all those set up. I've gotten a good bit of comments over the last 2 years, mainly complimenting how good my audio is, and so I figured I would go over that as well and show how I use the DJI Action on 3 different styles of helmets here. Woo! All right, first up, got the adventure helmet, and it's just hit or miss on what kind of mount you're gonna have to find. So this is, I don't know if you can see it written on there, if I can get out of the light, that is the factory DJI mount. And the front of this helmet is flat nosed, but that entire area under that cylinder or circle is open, similar to this motocross helmet. However, this motocross helmet wasn't flat. So I got lucky, and this chin piece comes out with a screw. And so I left the double-sided sticky tape on the back of this, like factory or, comes with the camera DJI mount. And then because that sticky tape isn't really sticking to anything but a couple of ridges under here, I got 2 screws that go through that piece. And then I can take, again, that piece on and off with that 1 screw. It lets me run a chin mount. And then I drilled a hole through that mount. My cable can bundle up in behind there. And then there's my mic. Now, there's one thing that is going to be the same on all 3 of these, and that is the microphone setup. So I have 1 adapter to go from USB-C to 3.5 jack, which I got for like $5 on Amazon. And then this is Apple, like really old because it's got the 3.5 jack on it, but Apple headphones. I cut both the headphones off. One side I cut it off at the Y split, and the other side I cut it off where you got the volume control up and down and the mic. And then you just got to get like a windsock or something to put over. And in this case, I have a piece of foam over the mic, and then I actually have a legitimate sock for a windsock, and I zip tied it around everything on that end. And then to hold it in place, just a dot of super glue between the helmet foam and the sock, stick it on there. And that's been running like that for like 2 years now. And great audio setup. One mistake I made early on is trying to hide my mics behind the cheek foam, and it's not a good thing to do. In my experience, just wind hitting the outside of the helmet shell and everything, it causes, you can hear your voice fine, but it causes other noises like just vibrations to be picked up nonstop. So I've always just ran my mics out in the open like that, and that solves that problem. And surprisingly, you don't pick up that much wind noise. Here I've got a Biltwell Gringo S, and this was another Amazon GoPro mount. It comes with straps. That's what these slots right here are for. Both sides, and then there was one on the bottom. So I trimmed the bottom off so that it would fit in this area. And then the entire back of this thing I covered. I think it originally had just some foam on there, so you'd put it on there and use the included straps. And it's not I was looking for a permanent solution. So I trimmed that thing up to fit, and I covered that entire backside of that Y shape with quality 3M double-sided foam. Just order like 1 roll of it. Don't cheap out and get like Harbor Freight or something. I've tried that in the past. Starts coming off pretty quick. And just secure it on there with that. And that's been on this helmet for also about 2 years. I set both of those up at about the same time. And then if you're wanting to get it set up on a motocross style helmet, you can do a chin mount. You could do an off the side chin mount. I chose to do a visor mount up top. I've always ran my motocross visors kind of high. I want it way out of my peripheral vision, and you can see the top of it's peppered pretty good with mud. If I get behind somebody and I'm gonna duck my head down, I'm ducking it down. I'm not slightly tilting it. So I figure I might as well run it high, completely out of my peripheral, and that's what I've done my entire life. I don't know if it's just that way from a kid, because that's the way my first helmet was. I never touched it, but I like it high and out of my way. So that leaves plenty of room to run a camera up here, and the camera also I can see it in my peripheral vision, but it doesn't bother me to see it. It's not like it's, covering up a huge portion. I can barely see the bottom of it. I can't even see the screen. So I don't have the camera, the DJI out here with me, clips on. But, the screen that would be on my side of the camera barely, it's almost the same size as the entire body of the camera. There's very little gap between the screen and the outside body all the way around, and I can't see the screen. So I've just got the tiniest bit in my peripheral, and that allows for a little extra airflow down here, not blocking off any of your vents. Not that I don't know that it would matter. But that's the setup I've got here. In some of my older videos, when I'm running this setup, the audio is horrible, and that's because I didn't have a mic on it. So like I mentioned here, iPhone, old 3.5 millimeter jack, iPhone headphone jacks. This one, I'm actually using, this is the cheap one earbud and mic combo that came with like a PlayStation 3 that I found in a drawer. I did the same thing. I cut the earbud off at the mic point and have it wired up, running underneath the helmet foam all the way around the shell, and then back around in the front, and the mic is stuffed under there. And just like the other two, which I didn't show it on the street helmet, but there's the microphone, stuffing inside a literal sock. Wash your socks first. Well, that's up to you if you want to smell your stinky foot, but some kind of cotton fabric, something that's kind of fluffy like a sock, works great and is inexpensive, and it's providing really good audio. I've been very happy with it. And again, this one, I was able to stuff it between that vent and the piece in the back, and just route all the extra cord up in behind the foam somewhere, if you've got a lot of it that you need to hide. So that is how I've got the DJI Action 3. It would be the same for the Action 4 and the Action 5. The only difference is I don't know if those cameras, I assume they still just have a USB-C on the side, like the Action 3 does. So a little like 2-inch adapter, flexible, that's got a 3.5 on one side and a USB-C on the other. And you can plug your camera straight in. And I don't have 3 of the mag mounts, so if I'm going to be wearing a helmet that don't have it, I just undo, put onto the next one, so forth, so on. I've got 2 of them right now. Both of these helmets are set up with those. So that's how I get my audio. That's how I've set each one of them up. And again, over here on the motocross helmet, I know it doesn't look the prettiest, but to get it mounted up here, this bottom side of this visor was fairly flat, but this is a motocross helmet. There's a chance I'm gonna go down. It's gonna take a hit. I don't want the camera bouncing off, yanking my cord out, So I went ahead, and after I got it stuck on, was happy with it. Stuck one little bolt with a Phillips head bolt nut, Loctited that on there. And if I need to adjust, the visor, I can still adjust it up and down. Of course, the further I go down, the more the camera would be in my view. But it works great. And having it higher up like this, you could mount it up here on the top on the outside, if you wanted. But having it higher up like this for riding dirt bikes, I think provides a better downward angle. Maybe that's why Adam Reeman uses it. I don't know. I just thought I would try it after seeing how that's how he mounts his and his, for most of his content that's on the bike. Been happy with that for the motocross helmet, and then been happy with this setup for these two helmets. So if you got any questions, let me know, but I feel like that pretty much covers it. You just sometimes might have to get a little creative with how you mount it. And again, you can spend 40, 50 bucks on some like really nice, off to the side chin mounts and some other mounts, but I really don't see the need in it unless you just maybe want to look just a little bit better. But I feel like that looks fine. That could look a little better, but functionally it is perfectly fine. It keeps the camera as close to the chin bar as possible. So functionally, I think these are 3 great setups for 3 totally different style of helmets, all using the same, for the same camera. These two, the dirt bike helmet and the ADV helmet, it's the same mount exactly. So I've been running it for 2 years and perfectly happy with it. Perfectly happy with the camera and perfectly happy with all the setups.